ready, folks. We're about to go. 3, 2. All right, we're good. 1.
Welcome to the Friday Game Night Week 9 PICKEM Show. Hello, everyone, and you know who we are. Welcome, guys. How you doing? What's happening?
What if they don't?
Okay, I'm Bo. That's Jeff. That's Caleb. And that's Walker. And that's Seath. And that's Caleb. You can't see Caleb sexting
Wait, I'm
over
right
here.
here, though.
Yeah, but this Caleb with a C and Caleb with a K over there in the corner. There he is,
Oh, he
waving.
spells his name with a K?
He just waved to the camera. Yes. Hey, guys, we got a great show.
Do we have to give him residuals now? His hand was in the video.
Caleb with a K.
There he is, Caleb with a K.
All right, there we go. Why are you sitting in the corner?
He got in trouble.
So I told him he was bad and he had to sit in the corner.
He's on the phone. He's got his AirPod in. He's talking to somebody.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh no, why are you talking?
That's a cool thing
Yeah,
to do.
no talking.
Hey, we got a great show for you guys. It's a great show.
Oh, it's
Great show.
You know what's awful
we
is that
always
I
have great
realize
shows.
it's dating myself to go, it's great. I realize that it's dating myself to do that.
Don't they still use that on the commercials?
They don't
Or
use that anymore?
Are they allowed
Yeah.
Here and
to
there,
advertise
like-
Frosted Flakes?
Well, let me say this. We've got 2 members of our show not operating at 100% because Walker played through pain on the Artie Chevrolet scoreboard show last week with this, I don't know, sinus infection, sinus drainage, sore throat. And then Walker gave it to me via the screen.
Wow, that's
somehow
interesting.
caught it from him all the way from Virginia. And now I'm
So what are
dealing
you
with it,
saying?
so-
You can
gotta tell
catch
you,
a
that's
cold
not
from
how
Google
it
Meets?
Yesterday I was at 5%. Today I'm at about 80%.
Wow.
That's just a drastic change from where I was just yesterday.
What
Yesterday I
what
wasn't
did
sure I was going to make it.
What kind of
did you
drugs do you have?
Yeah, what'd you do?
Tamiflu.
Tamiflu?
Oh, so you had
you have
the
the
flu.
Tamiflu.
Did.
So the flu exists.
Jeff
does.
just called it Hamaflu.
I don't know. That's what it sounded
It's-
like in my hearing aids.
It's a generic brand of Tamiflu.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
It does exist.
Have the flu.
Does it leave the taste of bacon
Get the
in
new
your
and
mouth?
improved Hamaflu.
Is that like the sleepy chicken? Is that where you cook ham in Tamiflu?
Oh, yeah.
You know, we were supposed to open the show with, but I don't think we had the clip saved, but it's pretty funny.
No, not with,
we're gonna
not
save
with
that.
our last-minute guest in filming. I did not get
We're going to save that for next week. But
get in here and do it.
Walker, you were supposed to have some special attire for the picks later on in the show today. Did that arrive?
I don't know whether I should say yes or no. I mean, we kind of get to that in the picks.
But they don't know what it is. They just want to know if you're ready for that. Do we just want to leave them in suspense?
I could say the post office didn't play nice.
of
course they didn't.
That's disappointing.
Of course they didn't. Hey,
I mean, the post office is very, very slow in general. I just, not to get political or anything with an election 28 days away.
If they know where
whatever
you
it is,
live
but
now, you'll never see mail after that comment.
that's probably true.
all right, guys, week 8. Any surprises to anybody? Yay, nay, no?
How about seeing Appalachia back on the field? Not a
That was
surprise,
great.
but a welcome sight.
That was good to
good.
see, and I was also glad to see. Appalachia has not been very good for a while now. I imagine they have not had a packed home crowd for a while. They had a packed home crowd on Friday night.
Yeah, that was good.
and it was good to see the community. That was they lost to Jackson County. They were going to lose to Jackson County, and I know that they were probably disappointed in that, but. That game was about a lot more than a football game. It was just good to see that community get to gather together and have something to enjoy and celebrate again.
Absolutely.
and they had the Rock on the sidelines too.
That was cool. I saw the tweet about that. That was kind of neat.
Somebody asked me about that. Oh, it was yesterday. I had to go to the eye doctor yesterday, and the folks
How is
there,
everything? Your eyes good?
Yeah, we're good. But I can still see. Nothing changed. Everything's good. Clean bill of health. Yeah. So she asked me if I went to the Appalachia game, and I was like, no, I'm sorry. She goes, I heard The Rock was there. So, yeah, everybody's heard The Rock was there.
So that's what they're going to remember. The Rock was there.
Yeah, The
Not
Rock.
that Appalachia actually played a game, but The Rock was there.
But it was still good to see Appalachia back out on the field. I mean, that was good. Hey, when you look back at Week 8, I really don't have anything that kind of slaps me in the face. I don't guess looking at these
that can be me.
Scores.
Were you surprised?
That can be me. I can come slap you in the face.
Were you surprised,
Yeah.
Bo? You were at the Cherokee Bluff West Hall
No.
game. Were you surprised at not that Cherokee Bluff won, but the degree to which they won? How dominant they were?
I can't say I was because I had a couple of expectations going into that game, or what I thought would be expectations or hope. Let me go back. Hope in this game was that West Hall was going to be in the game. But then the second, not hope, but the second thought that I had was that Bluff was going to rout West Hall if they come in and play like they've been playing, and that's exactly what happened.
Jeff, you were at the Buford-Collins Hill game.
Yes.
I thought not that Buford won the game, but the way the game kind of played out was a little bit interesting, where Collins Hill goes into halftime with the lead, and then Buford just dominated the second half.
Collins Hill has no offense. I mean, they don't have an offense. The defense, we talked about that last week. That front seven, really good. Buford just wore them down. They flat wore them down in the second half. They were running at will. I think they ended up with over 300 yards rushing. That offense gave them no help. Now, against some of these lesser teams that they've been able to get away with that. But, when you're playing in a comparable talent team or better, and I would put Buford in the better category there, you got to get something from your offense. I mean, I don't even think they got 100 yards. And you take out the 76-yard pass play, I mean, it was brutal. Buford dominated that game on defense other than the one play, and it was really just a matter of time. Dayton Rayola also looked much, much better in this game than the other two games I had seen him this year.
This is where I'm talking about where I don't think we had any results that were surprising, but maybe some of the things that transpired in some of the games a little surprising. For example, if you had just shown me the Commerce-Rabun County score, I would have said that's exactly the kind of ball game I expected. What I did not expect was for it to be 42-38 with just under 9 minutes to play, and for Commerce to take the rest of the time off the clock.
That made they did all that damage in 3 quarters. That's what's insane.
And you look at that game, and the majority, which now we knew that Ty Truelove was coming back from an injury, but you look at the game, and it's all rushing. Like Tyshawn Wiggins went off, and then Jaden Daniel was not that far behind. Then Reed Giles had a big game. And tracking that game all night, we were looking at the Hardy Chevrolet scoreboard. It's like, okay, Buford goes up, Rabun goes up, Commerce goes up, and it's like back and forth. But the amount of rushing yards, insane.
Well, our buddy Jeff Butler was there, and he goes, he was trying to, he goes back as long as I do, even before I do. He's older than me. He said he can't remember where he's seen a game like that where there was like 8 or 9 lead changes in football. I mean, that just doesn't happen. That was crazy.
Walker, I don't know if you've had a chance to watch some of the highlights, but some of those runs by Jaden Daniels, who was the great Commerce running back that set all the records? Monte Williams. Yeah. Some of those runs by Jaden Daniels in that Rabun County game gave me Monte Williams highlights flashbacks. Like, it was those kind of crazy open field runs. You get that guy in open space, and it's God have mercy on your soul. Like, honestly,
you're not catching him. And I wrote about this in 5 things this week, and I want to kind of get your thoughts. Does it feel like Commerce is really taking momentum in that rivalry to where maybe the tide's changing in that rivalry to where Commerce might be the favorite now in that, because we know Rabun County won so many times over Commerce year over year. Then Commerce got over the hump last year, and Commerce wins again this year. Well, I know Commerce is losing a lot, but Rabun's going to lose a lot too. So does it feel like Commerce maybe is kind of taking over that favorite in Northeast Georgia in that region?
I think so, but we'll have to see obviously what happens when in the post Jaden Daniels, Tyshawn Wiggins world. Right. But I think that this feels like a Commerce team that they've been building towards for a couple of years now. And I think that now that they are fully comfortable with Jaden Daniels at quarterback, and I think you have to say that now after what they did offensively on Friday. Yep. Now that they look fully comfortable with how everything is arranged in the backfield, I'm telling you, that is a state championship caliber team that Raven County played on Friday night.
I would agree. You know, in my answer to your question, I think it's this particular group with Commerce. You've got a very experienced offensive line. You got Jaden Daniels, you got Tyshawn Wiggins. They've been doing it for 3-4 years now. What you're going to have left next year is you're going to have Jakari Huff, and we have no idea after that. Jakari Huff will.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is this the second year they've been in the same region, or the third year?
Third year, yeah.
So it's the third year,
right.
and Commerce has won 2 of the 3.
I believe so.
And by the way,
All
the one they lost, they were huge underdogs, and they played it to like a 5-point game.
All right, so it's been 3 years since they've been back in the same region. Prior to that, Commerce dominated Raven.
Well, that's
if you go back to
right. Well, they dominated just about everybody.
Right. So if you go back to your question, Walker, I think Commerce just picking up where they left off, coming back in the same region.
Right.
But yeah, I agree with you, Caleb. This team is now it's clicking on all cylinders and is absolutely dangerous. And I don't know about Jaden's passing game, but if that's in the back pocket at some point in the playoffs, of which they're going to probably maybe need, wow.
Remember, he threw a 99-yard touchdown pass to Tyshawn Wiggins against Athens Academy early this year. They can do it.
That's why I said back pocket, right?
Right.
Yeah. I got one more for you, though, real quick. Credit to Lakeview. I know they lost to Bethlehem Christian, but that game was 10-0 late into the fourth quarter. They were right there with Bethlehem Christian the entire night. Offense just couldn't break through. I think that Lakeview team is still in a great position to make a deep run in the state tournament as well.
I do, too. In fact, I got a text from the Bethlehem coach, Roderick Robinson, after – I think it was on Saturday. He asked me some question, and I said, man, they really played you tough. And he goes, yeah. He goes, we have a special group this year, but Lakeview is going to be the team. That's kind of what he hinted at, that, you know, because they're going to have a lot of these guys back next year. And he really he threw a lot of compliments toward Lee Coleman and the staff and what Lakeview is building over there. And he said, they're coming. So I don't think this is going to be the last we've heard of Lakeview. Not this year and probably not down the road.
If I had come in here and I told you guys this time last week, guys, I already watched the Lakeview Bethlehem Christian game. I'm not going to tell you the score. I'm not going to tell you who won, but Bethlehem Christian scored 17 points.
Yeah.
Would anybody in this room have taken Bethlehem Christian if I had told you that last week?
No. But their defense apparently is that good. You know, we talked about the matchups last week, you know, on what we were going to get in that game. And apparently the Bethlehem defense was just too tough for Lakeview to crack, whether that's a depth issue, a talent issue, or whatever the case may be. But, you know, I think when you look at what was the score last year, like 41-3, or it was very lopsided.
Well, apparently Lakeview's defense was tough for them to.
Well, it was, but they got enough.
17 on them.
They got enough. But what I'm saying is, when you look year over year against the same team, that's a massive improvement for Lakeview. And when you look at we talked about they had double the roster. Is that roster better? I mean, is it to 22? I understand that. But I think this is very encouraging for Lakeview despite the loss.
Very encouraging to the fact that they don't have to play them in the state playoffs as well. I mean, you know, I think that's true. I think that really says a whole lot about where Lakeview is playing against a bigger school.
Right.
You know. All right, guys, coming up on today's show, we've got UGA defensive back Dan Jackson. Dirty Dan. He's in the green room waiting to come on live. So we'll have him later in the show.
How did the picks go last week?
Yeah, Caleb Hutchins, congratulations to you. Your second straight week of undefeatedness. He's 11-0. And, of course,
26 of his last 26.
Are you stealing signs?
Cue up the applause again because we have a new guest picker leader.
Ooh.
Gene Durden takes over the top of the guest picker standings. Sorry, Jody. You had a good run, buddy.
How about that?
But Coach Durden coming in at 10-1.
For the legend.
Yes. And by the way, to explain that, we've gone by winning percentage now on the guest picker because we dropped the amount of games we're picking just to make it fair.
I just have to say, Jody Kenny, don't feel too bad because there's a lot of people with great records that have lost to Gene Durden over the years. You're not the first one, and you won't be the last.
And you will not be the last.
Here.
Yes.
Did he prove that maybe it's better if we don't send people information? Obviously, we're holding them back.
You never let Gene know that his record, did you?
Oh, he did.
I did.
Oh, you did.
I did. Remember?
No, I am not going back to that. I'm doing this.
You remember? Do you remember what you told him that you would let him know?
I-
He didn't want me to let him know. He wanted you to do it.
But I
and
didn't
you
know.
forgot, of course.
I didn't know the
Seth,
totals.
you were 9-2. Jeff, you were 8-3,
Whoa.
and I was 9-2. So Caleb has a pretty good lead on, just about everybody except the guest picker. 2-game lead over the guest picker, and a 6-game lead over Walker, and then the rest is awful. So there you have it.
What is the rest, Mo?
The rest is terrible. Walker,
won't do
Seth
it.
is 92
You
and
won't do
34. Jeff is 90 and 36. And hello from the basement. Hey, how you doing? 88 and 38
You're
for
50
myself.
games
What's
over
my
500.
record on the year?
126.
Listen, you're
126.
you're
First
50
guy to the
games over
century mark.
500.
Yeah,
You're
so there
50
you have
games
it.
That
over
is
500,
70
but you're terrible.
79%.
That is right. That's right.
Feeling good
That's
about
good,
things.
good job. Way to go. Way to go. Let's move on to the games.
Please.
As it's time to get to the conversation games. Yes, it is.
All right.
Greater Atlanta Christian School is traveling to North Hall this week. The Brickyard Magic, guys. We've talked about it a few times. Is there enough, Walker, Brickyard Magic for North Hall to get their first ever win over GAC?
I don't know that Brickyard Magic has to be a factor in this, Bo, to be honest with you, because GAC is not the same GAC that they have been previously. And I know Jeff's got all the records, and he'll get into that here in just a minute, I'm sure. But Lumpkin County had GAC on the ropes in week 1 of Region 6 3A play. Couldn't finish it. Nolan Matthews gets hurt. GAC finds something in the passing game, finds the tight end in short yardage, converts a lot of third downs, able to do what they did. Credit to the Spartans in that one. But GAC has struggled in every single game this year. North Hall might be the best opponent they've played to this point. And I say that because North Hall is very balanced. They've found a way to run the football. They can throw the football, and they play really good defense at times. I think that's the biggest key is North Hall is going to have one of their better defensive performances, Jeff, that they've had in some of the other games, because there have been some games where North Hall's defense has looked suspect, but as of late, North Hall's defense has looked really, really good.
I agree. This is a great time for our Jeff Hart stat of the show.
Jeff Hart officially caught me off guard.
Some
1000%
things we
off guard.
need to know.
He
It's
didn't
Jeff
put it in the
Hart's
document, so I didn't know that it was coming
star of
either.
the show.
You need to know. It's Jeff Hart's interesting stat of the show.
Well, wow, that was weird.
I
Okay,
continue to say so much better with the party favor.
Yeah,
the
I
party
don't-
favor is
yeah.
the secret ingredient.
Things you need to know. It's Jeff Hart's interesting stat of the show.
I like that one better. I like that one better. actually.
I found that.
Yeah,
I
that's
found
good.
that little sounder,
Look,
and I was like, that'll go well.
It's
That's good.
I think it boils down to this. North Hall is averaging 35 points a game. GAC is only giving up 9 points a game in region play. Something's going to have to give, and that's where this game hinges. I think it's pretty simple. If North Hall can score, they're going to win this game. I feel confident that they will. Nobody's really been able to slow them down that much.
I think the big key, if you tell me, if you could give me a stat that I could know before much like I talked about with the Bethlehem Christian thing earlier, if there was one stat you could give me where I could tell you, yeah, I would feel pretty good about giving you a pick if I knew that stat. Over under on North Hall rushing yardage, over under 180. If it's over 180, I have a hard time, Walker, seeing North Hall losing a football game where they rush for over 180 yards, because I don't really know that anybody other than Cherokee Bluff has stopped that running game.
Yeah, nobody has, and that's the big key for North Hall, is being able to get that senior layer, that upperclassman laden offensive line going. North Hall's been really, really good front seven in the trenches all year. It's just been a couple of games where they've gotten caught and mismatches and schemes and stuff like that. I feel like that Cherokee Bluff game really stands out in my mind as where North Hall was really outmatched, but I think it was more so of a scheme thing. And GAC is a completely different team than Cherokee Bluff, which GAC fits more of the type of team that that North Hall has had a lot of success against this season. And so can they break the 0-5 streak? Can they finally get past GAC? think we said GAC is 16-1 against Hall County schools all time, and that one loss was in the playoffs to Cherokee Bluff. So 16-0 in regular season games against Hall County schools. North Hall is kind of the last best chance
Here's
for
what
somebody to knock GAC off.
Here's what you're missing. Here's what you're
What
all
am I
missing. GAC private school. I'm scared. That's exactly what happened in Lumpkin County. Y'all can blame it on Nola Matthews being out of the game. You're up 13-0. You can't get any pressure on the quarterback.
Ooh.
That's the problem. The name across the chest plays a huge factor in this game. 16-1. I mean, GAC's come up 985 and dominated teams from our area, except for Buford. I mean, the domination, I don't care what team comes in here. It's always like, okay, GAC gets out with a win. I think that's the biggest factor. It's the mindset of playing a team like GAC that you have in your mind, the back of your mind, oh, these guys can maybe get better players or recruit or this or that. I think that's the biggest obstacle to overcome in this game. Lumpkin had them 13-0. Right. You couldn't finish them in the second half. And now North Hall gets them in a great position.
Right.
If North Hall brings
off
in
a bye week,
off a bye week, right. And I'm sure they've heard it all week for the last 10 days about, hey, this is GAC, this is our time to take. I mean, they can take control of the region standings if North Hall's defense comes to play. I think it was 368 rushing yards 2 weeks ago in that game, and you are correct. 160, 180 yards a game. If that happens for North Hall, they will walk out of the Brickyard with their first ever win over GAC, Jeff.
I agree. I think you're right, and you can't discount the GAC on the uniform and the attitude, because when the regions were put together, what was the first thing that we started to hear from local people? Oh, they put GAC in our region again. Great. I mean, so they were kind of almost already resigning the fact that okay, we're playing for second, but look, you're not. You're playing for the number one spot. It's in North Hall's hands. They have GAC this week. They have Lumpkin next week. They win both those games. It's going to be virtually impossible for them not to win the region.
That takes me to my last point on this before we move on to our next game. You know who else is really rooting for North Hall? Lumpkin County. Because if North Hall beats GAC, guess who's right back in the region championship picture?
Yep.
Lumpkin County. Doesn't North Hall have to go to Dahlonega?
Yes.
And this is
Gold
going to be
City.
It's a huge game.
In a world where North Hall wins, it would be a very emotional win for them over GAC. You then have to turn right back around and go on the road play Lumpkin County and Dahlonega. So Lumpkin County is kind of sitting there, I think, kind of like the villain rubbing their hands together, kind of like, man, if North Hall can just beat GAC, all of a sudden they start feeling really good about their position.
And, and Lumpkin's in a great spot because, they got Johnson this week who's really struggling. Right. I mean, you kind of figure they can probably rest a lot of guys, 3 quarters, certainly a whole half, if that game goes the way we expect it to go, so they'll be very rested and ready to go next week. So this is, another thing while me and you, Bo, we've talked – and we did a story this week about 6-3A, right? Because it's the Wild West every single week in that region.
Going to be an interesting finish in that region. Speaking of another interesting region, Monroe area traveling to Cherokee Bluff in a big Region A 3A game, which perhaps Monroe area may mean more to them in this game, but I really feel like this means a lot more to Cherokee Bluff. They're undefeated. They have the opportunity to fight Jefferson and Oconee County for, the region championship. And this starts the gauntlet, Caleb, for Cherokee Bluff because that Oconee County game has been moved to their off week, which was in between Monroe area and Jefferson. And now they have 3 huge games right in a row.
There's another element to this that is huge for Cherokee Bluff, which is I was kind of looking at the playoff power ratings and the region standings across Class 3A, and I think if the season ended today, there would be multiple 2 seeds that would be up for grabs for teams 3 seeds or below because of the private schools. Mm-hmm. As a result of that, if you're Cherokee Bluff, they're very highly rated in the power ratings right now. And
third.
And they've got a game against Jefferson who's really good, Oconee County who's good. If Cherokee Bluff could get this win, it probably guarantees them at least the 3 seed in the region. That all of a sudden puts them in a really good spot to get a home playoff game, even if they don't beat Oconee County or Jefferson down the road. So I think for that reason, this becomes really one of the critical games of the year for Cherokee Bluff to try to get that home playoff game if they can beat Monroe area. I'll say this, the Purple Hurricanes can score, though.
They can. Look, I think you're right, Caleb. I think, Walker, this is a game that if you have any aspirations of winning the region, if you're Cherokee Bluff and you have Oconee coming up and you've got Jefferson coming up, you have to win this game. I'm not saying it's a must-win. It's just if you're going to validate everything you've done up to this point and put yourself like we feel we're a region title contender, this is a game of those three. This, if you can call one easy, this is the easiest of the three probably, and you're at home. You almost have to win this game if you have any sort of region championship talk.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I disagree because even if you are unable to get this one, you beat Oconee County and Jefferson. Those two have to play each other. One of them's going to get a loss. There's a three-way tie. Bingo, bango. Now, I don't know what the tiebreakers are in 8-3A, but you're still in the mix. But to be able to get that number one seed outright, not have to worry about tiebreakers, you have to get through this one. For Cherokee Bluff, I think it's continuing doing what they do. Just stay balanced on offense. Yes, Monroe area is going to score. They're going to score their points, but I think Cherokee Bluff can score just as many points. They can throw the ball with Brooks Bryan. They can run the ball with their stable of running backs. Just name any one of them, and they're going to be able to get running yards. I don't think Monroe area's front seven is as good as it has been in the past, and I think that's where the offensive line for Cherokee Bluff can really take advantage of this one.
To your point, Walker, about Cherokee Bluff still being in the region title race even if they lose, there's a yes but there to that, and the yes but is mathematically yes, but Oconee County and Jefferson are, I think, a good bit better than Monroe area. So if you walk out of your home field with a loss to Monroe area and you've got road games at Oconee County and Jefferson,
that's correct.
There's an uh-oh.
That's
when you leave the stadium.
I don't know what the tiebreakers
look,
are.
That's what I was right, but that's what I was alluding to.
Probably plus minus whatever.
Yeah, right.
Stupid number.
Look, here's one individual matchup that I think could be huge.
A stat.
Well, it's not. It's just an interesting. You don't need to do that. So you got KT Thompson.
Here's something
you need to know.
What is it?
Jeff Hart's interesting side of the show.
it's Jeff Hart's
Other.
stats.
And go.
Okay, there you go. KT Thompson is probably going to be matched up against Monroe area's Kinsey Battle at DB. He's got a couple interceptions. He's broken up several passes. He's highly looked at, and KT Thompson is the guy that we have talked about. He's the playmaker on that team. You're going to have to get some production. Whichever one of those guys, if they're matched up together, whichever one of those guys wins that battle, I think it'd have a lot to do with how much Bluff can score in this game.
KT Thompson's the game breaker. He is the guy that when Cherokee Bluff has an opportunity to break a game open, it's usually KT Thompson that does it. He had the long touchdown reception.
Well,
against
he's going
North
against a really good DB.
I know,
that's who I would put
I'm just
on
saying, he had the long touchdown reception that broke the game open against North Hall. He had the long touchdown reception last week that broke it open against West Hall. So, again, I feel like, if the Monroe area is able to take that away, that forces a more grinded out game, which I think the Bears are comfortable in. But they haven't, other than the Habersham Central game, they haven't really had to be in that
I think they're very comfortable grinding out a game, especially if they're having success running the football. Now, what you got your stats up there. How many points a game are the Bears giving up, Jeff?
Let's see if I have that. I'm not sure if I actually wrote that down, to be honest with you. I know they're averaging 38 points a game. Oh, I'm here. Here we are. Let's see. I do not. No, 13 points a game. 13 points a game.
Hey, everybody says Monroe area can score, but Cherokee Bluff kind of discounting their defense maybe a bit?
No, but again, good offenses is going to score some points. If you're a good defense, you're going to limit what they're doing. I mean, I think Monroe is averaging about 37 points a game, so you figure if they get half. So if they get 18 points, you feel like you can – if you limit them to 18 points, I feel like you're going to win that game if you're Cherokee Bluff.
Plus or minus a few, right?
Right.
Hey, I think it's going to be a great game.
I do too.
Over at
Aren't you at
Cherokee
that
Bluff.
one? Aren't you at that one?
I am not at that one.
Oh,
AM
you're-
550 will be at that one.
550. That's
So I get the GAC North Hall game on 102.9.
No bad picks on
Boy,
the radio.
you're slumming
this
it there,
Yeah,
aren't you?
no bad picks.
week. Every radio game this week is big time.
is a big one. And speaking of a
huge.
big one,
Huge.
I got one more point here.
Oh,
because
go
I
ahead.
just looked up my stat.
I thought you left us.
No, I just looked up my stat here.
Oh wait, we have a Walkers. We have Walker.
Here's some things you need to know.
It's Jeff
Walkers.
Interesting stat of the show.
Thank you, Seth.
Cherokee or Monroe area has not been able to get into the backfield against the teams that they've played. They only have 13 sacks through 6 games. I mean, that's where I think Cherokee Bluff is going to have the advantages against the front 7 of Monroe area. They're more physical and they're stronger than the front 7 of Monroe area. Yes, KT Thompson's the game breaker, like you said, Jeff, but they don't necessarily have to get the ball to him or try and force the ball to him when they're able to run the football as they can and allow the play action to really get going. I think that is the telling stat here where I think Cherokee Bluff holds a major advantage in this one.
Well, speaking of big ones, Monroe area and Cherokee Bluff is huge. But numero uno Milton traveling to number 6 Gainesville is huger. Is that a word? Huger. Massive game at City Park, guys. Jeff, I know you talked to Coach Niblett earlier this week. We've had the conversation, I don't know, a million times it seems like, about the Carrollton game. And you go back to that game and you talk about the mindset of that game. You talk about Carrollton getting in the heads of Gainesville and it affecting Gainesville and the outcome of that game. I know you talked to Coach Niblett this week. What is the mindset of the team going into this game?
Well, I also talked to Kareem Huey. I talked a little bit to Alex Payne. Mindset is basically what it's been every time you go over there. They're confident. They feel good. They're only worried about themselves. But I do think that they are conscious of kind of what happened at Carrollton. They were in that game, and we were at that game. Seth, me and you were at that game, and that game got turned around because, Carrollton was able to get into their head, and it really affected a couple of key plays and just took them out of rhythm in that entire second half.
Yeah, definitely some just missed plays that you don't usually see Gainesville missing. You usually see them capitalizing on those some of those drop passes, some of the stuff like that. You usually see them capitalizing pretty heavily on that kind of stuff. And Carrollton maybe got in their heads a little bit.
Oh, they definitely did.
And got their hands shaking a little bit.
Well, and Niblett's aware of that. When we talked at the end of the Carrollton game, he goes, look, the emotions got all of us. He even admitted it got to him a little bit. And there's a guy that, how many state titles did he win in Alabama? So, everyone's human and it can happen. So they're aware of that. And the fact that they are aware of that, Walker, I think is going to play well for them. But again, it's going to come down. I mean, if Carrollton is the number 1 team in 6A, but most everybody thinks Milton is the best team in the state in 5A. And look what Carrollton did to them. And, it doesn't take much for a 7-3 game to turn into 45-16 like that one did. This is going to be a tall order for Gainesville, even at City Park, which is going to be rocking.
Before Walker gets to his point, I think that's kind of the key of it, not to give away my pick. They're at home.
Okay.
They're back here in Gainesville.
Well, and that could make a difference.
I think a lot of those nerves go away when you're playing at home. When you've got that, the stadium rocking with your people dressed all in red, you look up and see all those people supporting you, I think those nerves go away. Not to give away my pick or anything later, but.
Just go ahead and tell everybody who you're picking.
No.
Well, you talk about the emotions kind of getting to everybody. That was what, their 5th road game in a row, 4th road game in
Something
a row
like
to start
that.
the
It was
season.
4th, yep.
How much do those long road trips also play into the emotions of Gainesville? You know what I mean? Like, you're on a bus every single Thursday or Friday. I'm saying Thursday because of the Moody trip. You're traveling all these long distances. Moody, Carrollton. Where else have they gone?
Westlake.
Westlake. Just really long road trips. And you have a home game on the horizon. And it's you just have to get through this Carrollton game and you don't have to ride a bus next week. Like, I think that probably plays into the whole emotion of it all as well. You don't have to take a road trip this week against Milton. Now, can Gainesville's defense slow down Milton's offense? I think that's the kicker here, because Milton's offense, we saw what they did against Buford, 2 years ago in the state quarterfinals? They just went all over Buford, and we didn't think that would happen 2 years ago, and Milton scored at will. Can Gainesville slow down that offense, Caleb? I think that's how Gainesville has to do it to be able to pull off an upset.
Xavier Griffin, Julius Columbus, that defensive front have to dominate this game. If Gainesville's going to win the game, I think those guys have to dominate. They have to keep pressure on Drew Nickel. They have got to slow down that running game. Now, Milton can win a defensive game. We already saw them do that this year against Buford. So it's not like if you hold Milton's offense down that guarantees a win. It does not, because they can play really good defense over there too. But I don't know that I can see Gainesville winning a game where Milton scores 30-plus points. I just don't know that I can see it.
I agree.
I think the defensive front for Gainesville's got to dominate. And then if it is a low-scoring game, Gainesville's got a shot, because even if Milton plays great defense all night, I just know Kareem Hewley and Jeremiah Ware, they're going to hook up for a big play at some point down the line in this game. And so if the defense can give them a shot late, that gives Gainesville, that is the path to victory, I think, for Gainesville in this one. And who knows, maybe Hewley has his real coming out party, and we see him light it up, and they get into a shootout with Milton, and they go blow for blow for him. I just think the better path to victory for Gainesville, defensive line dominates and give those guys chances to make some big plays late in the game.
I 100% agree with you, and I think a lot of our thoughts in this matchup do stem from the Carrollton game, and then in comparison to the Milton-Buford game, because Carrollton's number 1 in 6A, Buford's number 2 in 6A. So I think a lot of my thoughts are stemming from those two scores and seeing how much Gainesville has improved since that game. And to your point, Walker, playing at home, and to Seth's point, playing at home, that is huge for Gainesville. But again, you've got the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense versus the number 2 offense and the number 2 defense. I think Milton's defense is giving up just a smidge less than Gainesville's defense is. And to Caleb's point, yes, the defensive line going to be absolutely huge to get to Mr. Nickel, who, what's he passed for, 1,600 yards so far?
Like that, yeah.
Yeah. So, and how cool would it be to have the sophomore quarterback have the breakout night and an upset moment of the
this? We've all talked about Caleb. You made the point. Can they score? Here's what that Gainesville, the pressures on the Gainesville offensive line. I think that's where the game they're going. I agree on Gainesville defense. They have to put pressure on them, make them get out of their comfort zone. But that front seven of Milton, 53 tackles for loss, 16 sacks, 48 QB hurries. So they're in the backfield and they're making you run around. That's why I didn't use this one as a stat.
Here's
There was a
some
lot.
things you need to know.
It's Jeff Hart's
Other.
interesting stat of the show.
Right. They
I
have
was sitting
8.
there nodding at me. I'm like, what do you want?
They
what
forced
are you
8.
trying to get me to do?
Look, they forced 8 turnovers, including 5 interceptions. So Hewley, he's going to have. That's what he's got to navigate against. So I think Gainesville. I agree. Their best path forward. They're going to have to kind of keep it as low scoring as they possibly can and take some shots and not make any mistakes. You can't have, you can't have these personal foul penalties out of nowhere. You can't have pass interference. You can't let them trash talk you into an unsportsmanlike, because that's what got them in Carrollton. They're going to have to show some composure. And if we can see that this week, I think they can take that step that they've been trying to get to the last couple of years.
I don't think Gainesville being at home is a small thing, to Seth's point from earlier. All of Gainesville's losses under Josh Niblett. State championship game against Langston Hughes in Atlanta. Road game in the playoffs at Woodward Academy last year. On the road at Carrollton this year. Yep. That's their only losses in the Josh Niblett era. They have not lost in City Park since he's been there.
Well, this is also their biggest challenge.
Yes,
so
it is.
It's going to be a fantastic
8 p.m.
game.
kickoff, by the way.
I can't wait. I'm going to be there. I am so looking forward to it.
Did you hear that?
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Yeah,
kickoff.
I had to fix it twice in your
Yes.
store. You had 7:30.
I didn't have 7:30.
Yeah, you did.
Which story was it?
Both of them. I
Plenty
had to
of
fix
time
it.
to eat at Longstreet before.
Oh, you're right, because I copied it from your caps, so that's why it was
Yeah,
wrong.
but I eventually changed them in my cap. So you You did not go back and look at the updated version.
It's amazing that you fixed something.
Plenty of time to eat.
All right, we got to get to.
You
Guest
rarely
Picker's
make a
favorite place to
mistake,
eat.
Bo.
We
You rarely make a mistake. So there's that.
Our
He-
guest picker's favorite place to
Are you-
eat.
are you
Long Street Cafe.
done
Oh.
yet, Jeff?
I'm done.
This is weird. Let's move on.
I'm just waiting for him to be done.
Jackson up next.
Let's get to the rundown picks. Dan Jackson coming up next. The PICKEM show rolls on.
All right, by all technicality, we should be off. I'm going to give it a minute or two. I'll mute everybody.
Are we going to be able to see the?
You can see it. Haven't worked out hearing it yet.
So it's
we're
about,
muting
what,
everybody.
30 minutes?
Got me a
Because
timer.
Jeff
I've
wouldn't
got a
shut up.
timer. It's 30 minutes. The Dan Jackson thing is 30 minutes.
It's okay. Just glad you could come in today.
All right. All right, here we go. Hold on. Everybody's going down. Walker, be ready to let me know.
So we got 30 minutes.
All right, guys, time to get to the rundown pick'em. And this week, we got a very special guest on the show, guys. A very special guest by the name of Dirty Dan Jackson.
Awesome.
DGD.
That's right. Formerly known as Daniel Jackson. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me.
So what's happening these days with you? I mean, you know, you've not been in the news or anything.
I try not to look at too much of it, you know, but just keeping my head down and getting after it with the guys and having some good practices and just keeping it going from there.
I want to ask you the question I asked you off air before we started, which is you just blocked a field goal on Saturday against Auburn, so you're famous for a couple of punt blocks as well. So I wanted to know, now that you've got experience with both, what hurts the hand more, a blocked field goal or a blocked punt?
I mean, really in the heat of the moment, and I don't really feel anything, but I'd say the next day the punt block probably hurts the most. They got a little more. Punter got a little bit more power, but like I said, I mean, in that moment, I can't really feel it.
You know, you hit the scene with that block punt. My God, I don't even remember how far back now it was. And you didn't even get, the ball was in the end zone. You didn't even get the pleasure of jumping on it for the touchdown. Did that annoy you in any way?
I think about that a good bit. You know, it's like you said, that's kind of one of the first plays that kind of got me on the map in terms of special teams. And like right after the game, I checked my phone, and all my buddies from high school and college were sending me Snapchats like doing this, like I can't find the ball. So I'll take some heat for that for probably the rest of my life.
Oh, pretty much. Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Dan, I want to go back to what I think it was Saturday in the presser, what Kirby said. Was it? I think it was this week. What he said about you just showing up at his door saying you wanted to play, you wanted to walk on to the football team. Talk a little bit about that, about, you know, you going up to Kirby and said, hey, I want to play, and now here you are.
Yeah. Well, you know, first off, Coach Bishop did a great job, you know, my senior year, helping me try to just reach out to coaches because, you know, until then I finally gained some weight and got a little bit faster and just had a better senior season. And, you know, I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to keep playing football, and I knew I could play at the collegiate level. And, you know, he did his best emailing. It was Coach Warren at the time. He was our DB coach, and just getting my name out there. And, you know, I still remember them saying like, yeah, coach, we got him locked in for camp. And, you know, the rest is kind of history.
You know, there's collegiate football, and then there's Georgia and the SEC level. It's pretty ballsy to walk into Georgia, you know, or Alabama or LSU or any of those major programs and go, I want to play for you, and I know I wasn't recruited, but I think I can make the team. That's pretty ballsy. You obviously had a lot of confidence that you can make the team. What gave you that confidence that you could walk onto Georgia and make the squad?
First, I mean, I think confidence is something that I've always had, but it's also like you only build confidence from the work you put in. And, you know, growing up, you know, constantly playing football, getting stronger, And then having the great support system and coaches around me that I did, I was constantly building my confidence. But really, I'd say just once I finally got to Georgia and, put the work in on scout team, because that's what I did for those first 2 years. It was just, every day just go on a scout team. And I remember calling my mom and my dad, after some practices and be like, I don't know if this is for me or not, but just keeping that confidence is like you talked about, is a main thing. And just not letting somebody tell you that you're not good enough or that you can't play, and you just got to have faith in yourself. And, for me, being a Christian, faith in God, that he's got my back and that he's going to keep me healthy. And if not, then trust in his plan. But another thing is, early on in my career, Coach Todd Monken, I guess it was my junior year, he was talking to some of the guys and he was like, it's not that you're trying to prove somebody wrong, it's that you're trying to prove them right. And so instead of worrying about somebody's other opinion and, that they have about you, that you're not good enough, or, trying to prove them wrong, just prove yourself right and have that confidence in yourself.
Listen, I think Kirby also in that, when he was mentioning Dan, of talking about you, Dan, was that you should be an inspiration for all these kids that are out there around the country playing football that aren't sure if they can make it. Having that confidence and going in there, I think you are an inspiration to everybody out there that's playing college football, that wants to play college football. Work matters. If you believe in yourself and you put the work in and trust the process, you can make it. Mm-hmm. And there are a few guys in the history of college football that have been able to do what you've been able to do at such a high level, at such a high level program. I hope you're going to, and I'm sure you will, realize that you probably are a big inspiration around the country for all those guys that aren't sure, but they want a shot and they just need to believe in themselves. So you're going to be remembered, whether you go beyond Georgia or not.
No, well, I appreciate that. And, the biggest thing with that is it's a shame with, the whole new walk-on rule that they're trying to implement. But it's like they asked me a couple weeks ago and before the season, like how I felt about it. But the biggest thing for these younger guys now coming in is, I know NIL is a very big factor for some. And, it can change a lot of families' life, which is awesome, and they should definitely take that in consideration. But in terms of a football player, you need to go where you think you have the best chance of being developed, and that's different for everybody. But even with NIL, I think that's still the most important thing.
Dan, we're going to transition here into the high school picks in a second. I don't know how close you followed the Northeast Georgia high school scene since you left it, but I do want to talk because you're on this Georgia roster along with a guy you used to square up against head-on in Savon Clark, who was at Dawson County. I know Dawson got you your last year there at North Hall. Has there ever been any trash talk back and forth about that, going back to the old North Hall, Dawson County days?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's been a little bit of that, but Savon, he's a great dude, and, we've been friends ever since. But, if there's a couple games in my high school career, I think we were texting about it earlier, but either Dawson County or GAC, if I could get those back my senior year, those would be the games for sure.
Well, it's kind of interesting because GAC is on the schedule this week for North Hall. We're going to get to that. What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
Hey, it's at the Brickyard, baby. So
the Brickyard Magic. Yeah.
Hey.
All right, let's roll in with the picks, guys. Let's get to them. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Dan, you ready? Walker, you ready?
What's
Yes,
the pick
sir.
order?
Let's do it.
All right, so the pick order this week is going to be Walker, Jeff, myself, Seth, Dan, and you, Caleb. So there's your pick order.
Had to pick first last
Again,
week.
it's Walker,
Pick last
Jeff,
week.
myself, Seth, Dan, and Caleb. Okay, so here we go, Walker. We're going to throw the floor to you, and we're going to start right at the top. This is a Thursday game, a big game in Region 8 4A, East Forsyth at Walnut Grove.
Yeah, I mean, there have been games every single day this week. I mean, it's been an awesome week already for high school football. More games tonight, games Thursday, games Friday. This is a big one for East Forsyth. 6-1 already this year. Mm-hmm. Got to go on the road to Walnut Grove region game. I think the Broncos have enough, but it's going to be very close, Jeff.
I totally agree. I'm going to go with the Broncos as well. I think big game for them to kind of set themselves in that upper tier.
Yeah, it absolutely, and to keep their name in the hunt for the region championship. I know it's maybe a long shot with North Oconee and East Side in that region, but if East Side knocks off North Oconee, and then you see what East Forsyth does throughout the rest of the season, they went out, we could have a three-way tie. So that would be interesting. I'm going to go with EFO on the road in this one. Seth.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that you're starting to say my name as soon as whoever leaves it off in the midst of me trying to produce this thing. They're like,
what was your name
Seth,
again?
it's
What?
your turn.
Oh,
Cue.
Seth.
Let's go, Steve.
Let's go, EFO.
Sith.
I gotta talk as little as possible.
All right, Dan, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, same here with me. I think it's been a while. It's been a long time since I was playing high school football actually, but
Yeah, you're
East
old now.
Forsyth's one
You're
of those-
old now.
One of those newer teams, and there were newer teams at the time, but like you said, I think 6-1. Give me the Broncos for sure.
I got East Forsyth too.
Habersham Central. Now, is it Alcovey
Alcovey. That is correct.
Alcovey.
or is it Alcovey?
It's Alcovey.
It's Alcovey. Are you sure it's Alcovey? It's not
Pretty sure it's
Alcovey.
It is Alcovey.
It's Alcovey. Okay, Walker, it's Alcovey. Hab
Caleb, you
Central.
want to help me with this?
What?
What is Alcovey?
Alcovey's bad, Walker.
They're bad.
Yeah,
they're
they are.
bad.
They are.
Haber-
They are.
Oof.
Is this a 3-2-1? Is this a 3-2-1?
It's your pick, is what I think it is.
Oh,
Yes,
my
Jeff,
bad.
go.
No, I thought we
Let's
were
just
all
go
going to
on.
do
Let's
it.
just go on.
Yeah, give me Hab Central. Give me
Yeah.
Hab Central.
Go Raiders. Seth.
Raiders.
Same here.
I got Hab Central too.
Madison County at Flowery Branch. This is an interesting game,
Very.
Walker.
really, really interesting. It's going to be very low scoring. I think Madison County a little bit more experienced, though, and I'm going to take the Red Raiders on the road.
Why do I have to go second? This is
Because
this
the
is
random order generator
I
said
know.
so.
You complain about your pick order every
I
week, Jeff.
know.
You could be like
Doesn't
last.
matter
Why do I
where
have
you
to go
pick.
last?
I'm going to go with the Red Raiders. Branch gave up 342 yards to another very similar running style offense, and we know what the Red Raiders do. So give me Madison, although I think Flowery Branch can, and they need to win this game.
Look, I'm going to the dark side this week.
Oh!
Give me the Falcons.
Seth.
Seth, see.
Sith.
Come on, Seth.
This one is because I was paying attention. That was dumb. But I'm gonna go Madison County on this one.
Ooh.
And there it is.
The 350
That's our-
rushing yards that were mentioned earlier and about 30 seconds ago. So give me Madison County as well.
I like Madison County also.
All
I just don't know
alone.
the Flowery Branch can score enough
Yeah.
at this point.
I think that 3-second
Look,
bit's gonna be on
I'm in the
Instagram.
basement here. I don't care anymore.
Right.
I don't care.
throwing up
There's
Hail
no
Marys.
catching up here. Okay, this might be the biggest game in the state. Top-ranked Milton rolls into the newly renovated City Park to play the number 6 Red Elephants. Walker.
Last regular season home game for Gainesville this year. I just don't know if Gainesville has enough to slow down Milton for 4 quarters. I think they're going to keep it really close for a long time, but I think Milton's offense is going to have their moments of success late in the game. I'm going to take Milton. It hurts me to do it, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think Milton wins.
Jeff, you took Carrollton, remember?
I know. And you did.
You're going against it.
I feel better this week about Gainesville. I do. I went down there. I talked to them, but I don't know. I saw Carrollton. I've seen Milton. I've seen Gainesville. I think the question, and I asked Niblett. We've got a story on the website. I asked Niblett about just not biting when the other team starts to talk, and that's been the issue.
So who you picking?
I think I'm going to have to go with Walker, and I'm going to go with Milton, but I would love to see Gainesville win this game. They need a defining win. This would be it. If you're looking to take that next step, this is it. So I'm going to help and give fuel to the Red Elephants by picking against them this week.
Back that fuel truck up, right? Just fueling the fire. Yeah, this one's a tough pick. This one over at City Park. It's huge. But I don't know. I've got Carrollton in the back of my head. You've got a top-ranked Carrollton in 6A, and now you have top-ranked Milton, of which a lot of folks say that Milton's the best team in the state. I'm going to go with the Eagles this week. Steve.
So this is a tough pick, but for me, it boils down to where I'm going to be on Friday night, and that is going to be
Don't be
on
scared.
the sidelines.
Don't be
next to
scared.
none other than KDB. And so, regardless of that, though, I still think I'm going to go with Gainesville. I think Gainesville will pull this one out. I think they've got a bad taste in their mouth from that Carrollton game, and I think they bring it onto the field today.
I can't
I hope you're
disagree
right.
with you.
First one.
Can't disagree. Now, this is the North Hall guy. I want to see what the North Hall guy has to say about Gainesville.
Well, you knew he wasn't going to pick Flowery Branch.
And what am
I've
I,
got a
chop
feeling
liver?
where he's going with this.
North Hall guy, what am I,
didn't
chop
mention
liver?
That, but
Yes, you're
to
chop liver.
hit Flowery Branch real quick at the, I think it was my junior year. At the end of the game there, it's like right after the game, they shut the lights off on us. I guess they didn't. They didn't mean to.
I
but,
remember
the
that
lights
night.
somehow magically
Looks like
shut
you got
off.
an air quote in there.
I remember
so,
that night. I think I was there, and I was working in the press box at Flowery
Yeah.
Branch at the time. I promise it wasn't me. It was not me.
Yeah.
Do you know the funny thing about
so-
that, Dan, before you make your pick, is the Chestatee North Hall game this year, which was at Chestatee. And you know Coach Bishop's now the AD over at Chestatee.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Yeah.
after the game
Coach
was over,
Cunningham and
after the game was over, the light shut off. And so I'm like, what are we doing here? So I talked to Coach Bishop
Is it North Hall?
the next day.
Did they
No, I
Well,
talked.
didn't Dawson do that to Lumpkin last
Yes.
year? Allegedly. Allegedly.
And so,
Allegedly,
well, I
it
think so.
happened.
But I talked to Coach Bishop, and he goes, "I promise you, I did not do that on purpose." He said the lights were on a timer, and I was trying to get into the timer to fix it. But it's funny you mentioned that. That's hilarious.
yeah.
All right, so back
Well,
to
I mean,
Gainesville.
if I were to ever, if y'all were to ever have me back on, you know, and Flowery Branch was playing, you can go ahead and count that one out for me. But I'll say this about Gainesville. You know, it's being from Gainesville. You know, 10 minutes from there. You know, everybody always asks me like, "Oh, so you went to Gainesville High School?" And then I always no, heck no. But you know, I can never claim that. But you know, it's like y'all mentioned. They've been having a really good past couple seasons, and you know, with the new renovations, I think y'all said it's their last home game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last regular season home game. Yep.
Yeah, it pains me to say it, but give me the red elephants in that.
I'm gonna go with Milton in this one. I feel like they're comfortable. They've proven they're comfortable in a low-scoring game or a shootout. I just think there's too much firepower at the end of the day. I'd love to see Gainesville pull the upset, but I'm gonna take Milton.
Monroe area at Cherokee Bluff, an 8-3A matchup here. A big one for both, and probably bigger for Bluff to stay undefeated there, Walker.
I would actually argue it's bigger for Monroe area. I know that we talked about this a little bit earlier. I'm going to take Cherokee Bluff, though, at home. I think that the Bears play really well at home. They're balanced, and I think that's what gives them the edge.
I'm going to have to agree. I'm going to go with the Bears on this one.
Yeah, it's you see what Bluff's been doing and how well they're operating at this moment. And yeah, it might be a little bit bigger from Monroe area, but I see Monroe area as a clear number 4 in this region. So I'm going to pick the Bears in this one, Seth.
Give me the Bears as well. They have impressed me a lot this year. Give me Cherokee Bluff.
Dan Jackson is so old. Bluff wasn't even a school
No,
the
wait.
last time he played.
No, they were.
But they were. I
We
think
talked
they
about
were.
this off air, me and Dan.
Yeah.
He played in Cherokee Bluff's first season.
That's
that
right.
is, yeah. Well, he was
Yeah.
a senior, so you're old, Dan. You're old.
I am old, and it's like you said. That was their first. That was their first year that they were a school and they had a football team. So that was
Had a
kind of a
football
rough
team.
game. That was kind of a rough game for them, but they've obviously turned things around in a big way. So give me Cherokee Bluff.
Stop calling the man old.
I got the Bears also.
Because if he's
It
old,
makes
what am
Jeff-
I?
6 years out of high
It
school.
Everybody
makes-
else here.
It makes Jeff feel good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
North Oconee. North Atlanta at North Forsyth. I think this one might be pretty easy.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a North Atlanta win.
Yeah.
Yeah. North Atlanta.
Yeah, North Atlanta. By the way,
Same here.
Nofo burned me last week, so North Atlanta.
Seth.
Sith.
I chimed in with you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
All right, North Atlanta.
Really am chop liver
Yep.
on this show.
This one, another easy one. Oglethorpe County at Rabun County.
We were talking, Dan and I, off the air. Rabun County's always got a lot of talent. Charlie Werner, another Georgia teammate of his. Rabun County, easy.
Yeah, but didn't you say you wished that Lumpkin had any talent?
No, I said
think that's exactly what you said.
Talent is what I said. Some of that talent.
No, I think you said we didn't get any talent like that.
Who you
I
pick?
think
Make
that's
your pick, Jeff.
exactly
Make
what
your
you
Make the
Jeff,
pick.
come on.
Let's go.
Didn't get any of that talent.
Oh, okay. Rabun County.
Yeah, give me the Wildcats.
Raven.
Yep. Also, Charlie Warner and lived with Gunnar Stockton last year too.
That's
so
right,
give me
Gunner. You forgot
Oh,
about
my
Gunner.
God.
Raven
Yeah.
County.
I did forget about Gunner.
Yep.
Gunner's not there. Charlie Warner's not there. Doesn't matter. Raven wins big.
All right, Pickens at Chestatee.
Pickens? You said it right.
I think this is
Pickens
a game
County.
that the War Eagles can keep close. I think it's a game that Chestatee can keep close. I just think Pickens has a little bit too much firepower late in the game. I'm going to take the Dragons very, very close.
You know, I'm with the bow here. I'm in the basement. I am taking the War Eagles in an upset because I need to pick up a game. I do believe they can win this game. I really do.
I do too.
You need to pick up more than a game.
Well, you
Much
gotta,
like
hey,
me.
baby steps. You got
Look,
it one at a time.
Let me
One-
tell you something,
need to
Jeff.
pick up
Just like the
having to
football
point
Listen,
that microphone at your face.
I've got a news flash.
Yes.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
I ain't picking Pickens.
Oh, okay.
Go War Eagles.
Bad every time you do it.
Batter up, Seth.
we fall for it every
time.
Can I just batter up? Can I just forfeit the game? Like, can I just go home?
Run rule.
Give me Chesty. Chesty.
Can North Hall guy pick Chestatee?
Well,
I want to hear this.
I've never been a big fan of Chestatee,
No.
obviously growing up, but
But Stuart
Coach
Cunningham's
Cunning-
there now.
Coach Cunningham, he has done a lot for me through my career, and just whether it was track or the defensive side of the ball, just always making me a better player and a better person, especially in the weight room. And I owe a lot of my success in football to him. And another guy over there is Kevin Christmas, strength coach, and I know he's going to have those boys ready to play. So give me the War Eagles for that one.
All right.
I got the Pickens Dragons.
Did you forget,
I got the
Caleb?
Pickens. I forgot it was my turn.
By the way, Dan, you and I have something in common. Let's make Coach Cunningham feel really old. He coached me as well in high school, so there we go.
Yeah. Was that at Habersham or where?
No, it was
that?
at Dawson.
Where was it?
It was at Dawson.
Dawson.
Yep.
That was back
That
in
was
the
way back.
Way
Hey,
back.
classified.
Way back.
the
Classified
ancient
as a large
days of the
scale.
Yeah.
90s.
Way
the
back.
ancient days of
That's
the
right.
90s.
Large scale oof.
Yep. Okay, this one we put on here because Walker was supposed to have some type of hat, but apparently they didn't.
Yeah, it's still
So-
stuck in the post office somewhere. Surprise, surprise. I'm taking Oconee County this week.
It's West Hall and Oconee County.
Oh, yeah. Give me I tell you, they're playing as well as anybody in the region right now.
Yeah,
Give me Oconee.
no doubt. Oconee in this one.
Sith?
Oconee as
How's
well.
that biscuit?
What biscuit? I don't have
You
a
had
biscuit.
biscuits? Like
I don't
a-
have a biscuit.
I didn't get a biscuit.
Why do you do this
No,
stuff
sorry.
just to confuse me?
Yeah,
I
you've always. I don't have a biscuit.
Speaking of
I don't.
biscuits, did any of y'all ever go to Long Street?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, went this morning.
I haven't been there in so long. It's
You
like-
miss it? You
I mean,
miss
I
it?
love Athens, but I mean, we don't have that kind of.
Don't they have? They don't have a
For
biscuit.
breakfast.
They don't have a biscuit equivalent to Longstreet at Butts Mayer or wherever they feed the football guys now.
They do a great job of feeding us, but
No,
not Long
in
Street.
terms of breakfast too, like I miss those Long Street breakfasts for sure.
yeah, you won't be looking like that if you hit Longstreet breakfast for any appreciable amount of time.
I don't know. That's I'd like to take my chances. I think.
Okay,
So is it the Warriors all around?
Warriors. What do you got?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got Oconee.
Okay,
All right, White County at Dawson County.
Oh.
Walker, do the Tigers have a shot here?
we lost Walker.
Whoop. We have Walker. All right, well, let's just go around the horn then.
What happened?
We lost.
What'd you do, Seth? You hit a button.
No, I didn't.
Give us a W or
Oh, there we go.
Here we go.
What's W?
He's got White County.
Okay.
He's got
Walker's
White County.
Okay,
Who you got, Jeff?
that was not me.
Dawson does have a chance, but I'm taking White County.
Yeah, give me White County.
Oh, that had to hurt.
Yeah, absorb all that pain, Bo. White County as well.
Dan, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
This was a tough one here for White County or Dawson. Yeah.
We
No,
don't.
To-
you
to be-
cannot.
to be
and
honest,
you can't
I wouldn't really
abstain.
care if-
We got to
if the
remember
lights
there's not
I wouldn't
great
care if.
there's not
What's
great
that?
blood between either of these two teams. Like whether it be
No,
He was about to give
Yeah.
us some insightful
Yeah.
analysis. Go ahead, Dan.
I don't know about that. It's like we talked about earlier with the lights cutting off. I don't think I would really care if they cut off at halftime and didn't turn back on. But I mean, give me White County.
That hurts.
Asteroid game.
I could see the pain on his
Asteroid
face
game.
just saying White County.
Cleveland has been, Dawsonville has been a house of horrors for White County over the years.
Yeah.
Low scoring game. I think Dawson uglies it up, but I got White County winning.
All right, guys. It's the game we saved for last.
All right.
It's the team that is 16-1 against Hall County teams over the years.
5-0.
They're 73 and 21 against our area teams. Buford's the only one that owns them.
They own
Now
everybody.
you could say Commerce does too because they're 2-0 against them. North Hall, however, is 0-5 against them. It's GAC at North Hall, and Dan, we are going to let you set this one up and pick first.
Now, before Dan goes, they're 0-5. Dan Jackson was on 3 of those losing teams.
Yeah, look. Just
Sorry about that.
Pour
Sorry
the
about-
ice water over.
Sorry
Jeff.
about that, Dan.
How about
Thanks,
that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks for
How about
bringing that
that?
one up.
Yeah, good setup, Jeff.
You're welcome. That's my job.
No. We hit it earlier. I'll say it again. If I could have a high school game back, I would like to play against GAC one more time, especially that senior. Not my junior year. They whooped us my junior year. But if I could go back, it would be that game. But I mean, it's another thing that senior year. It was a tie game for most of the game, and if not, it was a 1-score game the whole game. And we should have finished better, but them boys got to come into the Brickyard, and at the end of the day, I think we got a hell of a team, and we're gonna be ready for them. So give me the Trojans.
Can you hear me now?
Got
We
you,
can
Walker.
hear
got you, Walker.
Yeah.
We
Right.
got you now.
Yeah, that was my microphone decided it didn't want to play nice. Here's my thoughts on this. GAC should have lost to Lumpkin County. GAC is down this year. They were winless going into that Lumpkin County game. North Hall trending in the right direction. This game at the Brickyard, I'm taking North Hall big.
We talked about
Huge.
this.
That's right.
Yep, we talked about
I-
this. We got Dan's analysis. We talked about this game beforehand. I'm all over it with you, Walker. I'm taking North Hall. I think this is the year. It ends here.
That's right.
It ends here. North Hall wins. I'm guaranteeing a victory for the Trojans. Now, I know Jody Kinney does not want to hear that. I'm guaranteeing a win for North Hall.
You are on the record.
There's nothing we can do about him,
Look,
folks.
there's
He's
something to
just
be
doing his
said,
thing.
seriously, about the Brickyard Magic. There is something to be said. The question is, will there be enough on Friday night at the Brickyard? That is the biggest question. If North Hall comes in and plays defense like they did against White County, holy crap. But if they play defense that has holes all in it like we've seen, God bless them. I'm picking the Trojans, though. Give me the Trojans in this one.
Give me North Hall.
Lumpkin County got up on them, and they did not put the foot on the throat.
Nolan Matthews.
Nolan
went down.
Matthews' injury was big, but
Huge.
you got to cut the head off the snake. If North Hall gets up big in this game like Lumpkin did in the first half, I don't think the Trojans are going to let them off the mat. I think they've got too
Let's
many
go.
weapons offensively. I got North Hall.
Hey, look at there. Trojans all around.
It's clean sweep. Sorry, Joe.
One more thing about the Brickyard. We talked about, I guess y'all mentioned the renovations at City Park, but that's the thing about the Brickyard. We don't need them.
Oh, look at that.
That's a mic drop.
They made those a long time ago.
The administration, the North Hall
right
administration,
there.
you will be getting a call on that because they've been trying to get that done. So sorry about that, Dan.
Dan, you got Mississippi.
We don't need them. We don't need them this year. We don't need them this year.
Dan, you got Mississippi State this weekend. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. It's another game in the SEC, and that's what we talk about every week. We've got to about to start hydrating some more this morning and get ready for practice because Coach Martin mentions it every week. That's what we pride ourselves on, the practices that we have, and that's where we feel like we win all of our games. So, like I said, they played Texas really well too. I don't know if most people recognize that, but it was a one-score game until the fourth quarter, and then don't expect anybody in the SEC to give up on us or lay down. So we got to be ready.
How did the Vanderbilt beating Alabama resonate in that locker room? Because that's exactly what a lot of these coaches look. You can't take anybody lightly, and it looked like Alabama took them lightly, and they paid the price. How is that resonating in that Georgia locker room?
No doubt. I mean, it's like everybody else has been talking about, but it's completely different year this year with the whole playoff. But we're just focused on one game at a time. And, this next game, Mississippi State. So we're not worried about, who we might face in SEC championship when we get there. But,
he said win. He said win.
Yeah.
All right, Dan.
That's the way we're taking it right now. Right. This week is Mississippi State. So.
Roll the applause. Dan Jackson, University of Georgia defensive
good
back.
dog.
Appreciate you coming on, Dan.
Dirty Dan, man. Good luck this weekend, man.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, good deal. Dan, enjoy the workout, man. We appreciate you very much, and we'll have you back anytime. And, when you graduate.
There we go.
Thanks, Dan. Man, that was a good segment with Dan on the picks today. And now it's time for us to get to Dark Horse Dog. Of course she did. Still not changing it.
Never change it.
Never change it.
Never change it.
When did you stop it?
Is anybody surprised?
Dark Horse.
As a matter of fact, can we get that one more time?
Yeah, just play it.
Horse Dark Horse. Dark Horse. Dark Horse.
Wow.
Dark Horse Dogs.
Dogs. Is anybody surprised that our North Hall guy picked Gainesville?
All right, let's get to it. Let's roll out of here because we need to get to these dogs pretty quick. And the Dark Horse dog order is Seth, myself, Walker, Jeff, Caleb.
Oh, what? I'm first.
Seith,
How
you
about
are
ya?
first.
I got to open up the friggin' document. Okay.
Come on,
All
Seith.
right, hold on.
Well, while he does that, is Jeff going to complain about being fourth?
Probably.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to complain.
What's new?
What are the standings at this point?
I have a reputation to
Also,
uphold.
if that, guys, for the live folks watching, if that transition between Dan and back here to us was real clunky.
It was my fault.
That's his fault. That's Bo. I told him to go to commercial, and he just didn't do it. So,
My fault.
sorry for the clunky
We had to get
transition.
Dan before he went to work out.
Oh, yeah.
So,
He had stuff to do.
Yes.
We ain't got nothing to do with
yeah.
this show.
Hey, could you just make your pick and stop
I'm looking.
While he's looking,
procrastinating?
what are the standings?
The standings look like this. The Dark Horse Dog standing. Jeff's still in the lead, but he lost again this week. I won, or not won, but
covered.
I covered. I got the 3. So I'm in second. Seth,
You know what?
he
I'll tell you what I'll do.
lost. Walker
Lost.
lost.
Caleb won.
Caleb covered.
Yeah, he covered. Sorry.
Right.
My bad.
So 53 for me, 22 for Bo.
That's the reason I didn't say that is mute Jeff's mic, please, because who cares?
If you were in the lead, you'd care.
No, I wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
No, I wouldn't. I'm in second. Seth, are you
All
ready?
right, yeah, I'm ready. I had to, write mine down because I got to put all the, the texts in where they go. So I'm going to double down on my Gainesville pick and take Gainesville plus 20.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a high line, I have to say.
It's a pretty good pick.
What? I guess that's one you wanted or something?
No.
No, he just says no.
Who is next? Who is next?
Yeah.
You're next.
Oh, I'm set. No, I thought it was third. You sure?
No, I'm third. I'm third.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So I'm after.
All right. Here we go.
Get some music back.
I
in here.
am going to select today on the board that I have here on my phone.
What do we got?
Give
Give it to
me Monroe area plus 13.
Now I'm complaining. I'm fourth. I'm complaining.
It's a 24/7 thing.
Can I take a favorite but buy up the line a lot? Because Habersham Central minus 11 is like Habersham Central is going to win by a lot more than that.
So that's
Not
your
a good
pick?
line.
No.
No, we're not changing the rules.
But no, so my pick. Give me.
You're going to do it, aren't you?
You know what? Give me North Forsyth over North Atlanta. It's a weird line. It's at Raider Valley.
What's the line on
Maybe.
that?
It's plus 11.
Okay.
I didn't pick them, but I could definitely see them winning the game with the way this series has gone. Give me Dawson plus 10.
It's another good one.
That is a good one.
Give me Walnut Grove plus 13 at home against East Forsyth.
That was my other choice.
Say that one more time, Caleb.
Walnut Grove plus 13 at East Forsyth.
That's a good
Or
one.
at home against East Forsyth.
That's a good one. All right, guys.
By the way, has there ever been a time where Lumpkin County and Buford have been favorites by the same amount of points?
Probably
ever?
not. No, probably not. No.
This week they are. They're both 54-point favorites.
I'm really surprised it's not higher.
Wow.
Which one, Buford against Tequila or Lumpkin versus Johnson?
Lumpkin
Yeah.
versus Johnson.
That seems like an astronomical number in that Buford Tequila series. I know Tequila is way down, but man,
Oh, what'd you get?
that's a lot.
Monroe area plus 13. I think it was 13. Maybe it was 11.
Wait.
It was.
It doesn't
13.
matter. We
It
won't
doesn't
see
matter.
it before
We gotta
the
go.
thing scrolls
Okay.
at the
All
end.
right, fine.
Why don't you roll our music? Let's get out of here. We got a retirement party to get to.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
That is true.
Hey, coming up this week on Radio AM 550, we've got Monroe area at Cherokee Bluff on FM 102.9, G8C at North Hall, and then over on FM 94.5, The Lake. You can check it out. Milton at Gainesville, a huge radio lineup this week. And don't forget to
Again,
follow
that
us.
at 8 p.m.
That's right, 8 p.m. 8 p.m.
Have we
8
ever
p.m.
had a better lineup of 3 games in 1 week than this week?
Well, I don't know. We keep saying better lineup. It might end up being one of those weeks where
Let's hope
we
not.
thought so, but let's hope not.
Let's hope not.
Check us out on Twitter, or X, at Friday Game Night. We'll post scores throughout the night, scoring updates. Also, check the web out after all the action. Access WDUN.com's Friday Game Night page, stories, highlights, photos, and more. And Caleb, it's on the tailgate.
We're going to preview all those games, give out some prizes, and have a good time on Friday night.
Have you caught up on your prizes?
Yeah.
Don't forget about the scoreboard after the game. Hopefully, we get one this week. It will be
We had one last week.
after the game. More than 15 minutes.
Well, I can't guarantee about that.
We'll get to that and much, much more. But hey, enjoy week number 9 of high school football. Bye-bye.
Third quarter.
Third
Coming to a
quarter.
close.
Coming to a close. Yeah, week 9. Golly.
It's crazy.
Told you it flies by. We still live?
Goodbye.
Yeah. Hey, Seth.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Hey, guys.